Hey everybody, Gabriel Kevin here again. Welcome back to Pick Your Poison on my website, GabrielKevin.com. It's written there somewhere. Gabriel with a Y, Kevin with a Y. And under the menu item of Open Your Eyes, Teachings of Gabriel. Today, I think we have a very good one. I talk about it a lot. Class is off as usual. I talk about it a lot on different pages on my site. And it's a theme that's really above at the beginning of this page. And it's called The New Evolution of Humans, or The New Evolution of Man. So, what does Gabriel mean by this? Okay, so let's start with evolution. Everybody kind of knows evolution, whether you agree with it or not, or you're a creationist theorist, or you're something else, whatever. That's not what I'm debating. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the new evolution of man. So, evolution. Now, I studied anthropology at the University Museum at University of Pennsylvania. Well, the thing about that is I'm not trying to tout it, but it's a cool place. I mean, you go into this museum for classes and stuff like that. So I have a pretty good wasn't my major, but I have a pretty good background on anthropology. Anthropology, study of man. That's what that means if you don't know. And in anthropology, there are three disciplines. There's archaeology. Where's he going with this? There's archaeology, physical anthropology, and cultural anthropology. Cultural anthropology is the study of current cultures. You know, going to an island and studying the culture and participant observation, all that stuff. Archaeology is the study of the past without any written record. That's pretty simplistic, but it's without any written record, like Roman records or Greek writings and stuff like that, or histories. So you have to use the artifacts to figure out what's going on, which is pretty interesting. Physical anthropology has more to do with the evolutionary part of our bodies. Physical anthropology. So the theory of evolution, I'll try to do this pretty quick, is more of a physical one. Well, at least maybe up until now. So evolution basically, you know, you have the, it's so simplistic, but it's more than that. It's a little breezy, so I apologize. You have the apes, or, you know, you have the oceans where life started, and then amphibians, fish, amphibians that go into the land, and reptiles, and then mammals. And we're mammals, if you didn't know that. So, dinosaurs, all that stuff. But that is all part of evolution. Evolution is, simplistically, the physical change of our bodies and our genetics. So genetics make you what you are. So today, humans have a common genetic base, but each of us has little bit changes in genetics. That's why we look different, you know, all that stuff. So physical anthropology, evolution, means that over millions of years, there were mutations. There's mutations happening in us all the time. Our genetics are being mutated by the sun, by environment, what we eat, everything. And most of these mutations are harmful, meaning that they don't do anything. There's no benefit, not harmful, going to kill you, no benefit to us in terms of survival. And we're going to get to survival of the fittest, which it doesn't mean I'm stronger. No, that's not what survival of the fittest means. It has something to do with it. So mutations, if there's a mutation that's actually beneficial in a population, say of hominids would be somewhere between current humans and apes, you know, in there. So there's all different kind of hominids, and there's all archaeological record of the brain getting bigger and the artifacts and all that, okay? But somewhere in there, as an example, the probably a good mutation of genetics maybe helped out this one person or this one group of small people, and maybe it made them hunt better, maybe it made them see better, maybe it made them more cunning, okay? And that's a benefit to what? To surviving. But it's not the surviving that makes evolution happen, it's the reproduction of the survivor. So I have these good genes that are making me able to hunt better, get more food, which makes me live longer and makes my family live longer. Maybe they have this, and we reproduce, making that positive, good, mutated gene become more populate in the population. And over time, that can cause the physical change, because maybe I had a physical change that nobody else had. That's kind of the basis of it over millions of years. So survival of the fittest just means that you have a good thing in your genetic material and you have reproduced a lot. Survival of the fittest is reproduction. Okay, what does that have to do? Anything with the new evolution. Well, that's evolution. That's physical evolution. And it's also mental. I mean, our brains expanded. We became self-aware at some point. I don't know, maybe dolphins or whales, but I don't know any other animal or a rock or anything that is self-aware. If they were, then they'd start dominating, right? But then you start thinking. So to me, we've progressed as human beings through time, millennia, millions of years. And if you look at our history, to me, and this can even go back to the idea of original sin, and I'm not being religious. We, fairly obviously, our brains expanded and became more powerful and more self-aware before our bodies could catch up. Now, this is my opinion, based on what I know and read and studied and see. I think it's in the Bible where it said, Adam and Eve, or whatever, you've sinned. And I think somewhere it says, and the women will give birth in pain now. Well, I don't know too many animals that actually give birth in absolute pain like we do. The reason why women give birth in pain is because our skull is bigger than the woman's ability to push it through. So we're pushing through this big skull that's going through this tiny little hole. That's pain. Okay, so to me, I believe our brains have evolved faster than our bodies, which then implies, and here's Gabriel's thought now, which implies that we still have animalistic behavior within us. If we still have animalistic behavior within us, and we do, when you think about it, we can be aggressive, we can be hoarding, we can be greedy. I mean, if you look at anything that we do, it really stems from anything we do that's bad, really stems from the still animalistic behavior within us. And we don't even recognize it. We don't even recognize it at all. We're smart. Okay, I'm going to read. Yeah, I'm going to have to use a list because watch this in front of me. I'm going to read some of the things that are bad with human beings that have been bad. Here's the key. Have been bad with human beings since we became self-aware. An easy one, murder. You know, a lot of animals, wolves and stuff like that, will make the other animal submissive. But and then the animal put their throat in the wolf's mouth, submitting. Okay, which is a survival thing, because that's the dominating male or female, and they're going to get more food, and you're going to back off, and then they're going to reproduce more. Okay, but we've taken it to the extreme. We'll murder, not for survival, we'll murder for a dollar bill. We'll murder because we like to. We'll murder for revenge. Do you see the similarity? But our brains have taken everything that's animalistic in us, expanded it to an imaginative way and a perverted way. I'm going to read things that man has been doing since the beginning of self-awareness. And we're going back past the Egyptians. And you know, in the Egyptian civilization, the ancient Egyptian civilization, they themselves saw the ancient Egyptians. That's how far back Egypt goes. The own ancient guys and gals saw the prior civilization as ancient. So even before that, up until now, what do we do that's bad? Ready? And has always happened. War, conflict, global or personal conflict. I'm reading. Poverty, hatred, anger, revenge, resentment, jealousy, stealing, bullying, hurting people, backstabbing, prejudice, greed, politics now. Politics, take politics. You know what politics is? it's supposed to be the resolution of conflict. So you have two different opinions. Politics is not necessarily government. Two different opinions, and you're talking an argument with each other. That's politics. You're trying to convince the other person of this, to do this, and to do this, okay? But we take it to the extreme, and we add hatred in and all that stuff, okay? Based on that list, through millennia, we still do it all. We might not do it like out in the open as much, but we still do it. We still have inclinations like to war. How many times have you seen like the glory of war? There's no glory of war. Read up on General Sherman, who destroyed the South. I'm not saying right or wrong, but destroyed the South and fought in the Civil War. And he was aggressive. I mean, we have to destroy everything. Destroy everything. And in the end, in his own memoirs, he was saying how horrible war was, but it was necessary. Yes, there can be necessary wars, but just think we still have wars. So if the premise is that through our evolution, we've advanced faster mentally than our animal instincts or animal behavior, and this comes down to behavior, well, are we just going to keep going that way? Are we ever going to get better? So, that's evolution. The new evolution, to me, is not physical. It's not a physical change. It probably could have a physical change, but that is not, this new evolution is not survival of the fittest in terms of reproduction of the physical body to promote the better genes. This new evolution, ready, is the mind, not the body, the mind. The way we think, the way we behave, to logically and sensibly look at all the list of the things I said and stop it. Well, how are you going to do that, kid? I'm not going to give him my stuff. I'm not going to do that. Right, exactly. We put up all these obstacles. Society rules. Hey, I'm rich. I have a ton of money. I'm not putting down rich. I'm using an example. I'm rich. I have a ton of money. Okay, I have a mansion and everything, but I also have security. And I have the police force. So you, who are not rich, can't come onto my property. You cannot do anything to me because I'm protected. Now, of course, things could happen, but do you see what I'm saying? Is we've built a society through the ages of protecting a lot of these bad things. Protecting a lot of these bad things. So to me, it's not going to happen overnight. But you look at my videos, you look at my books, you look at my music, you look at anything that I say and open your eyes, and it's all about this. It's all about, we have to become now phase 3 of self-awareness. Aware that we must get rid of the animal instinct and get rid of the influence that has on this powerful brain. This brain can create a World War II. Right? You can create an atomic bomb. This is powerful. This is what holds us back. Not my heart, but new evolution is to start thinking differently. Listening to things I'm saying, listening to other people say. Dr. Wayne Dyer, I mean, I can just rattle things off. Listen to yourself. Think of all these things. How many things do you have? Resentment, jealousy. We need to love our neighbor. We need to love each other and get rid of this stuff. Forgive, love. Oh, he's a hippie. Well, when you think about the hippie movement, a lot of the stuff was to change the way we think and to change the world. Creating little communities and stuff like that. I'm not saying you have to do that. I have no idea where this is going to go in the future. But we can plant the seed with each one of us. And if one person changes and helps another person, and that person helps another person, and you start getting this nuclear explosion, it'll start permeating through society. That's the new evolution of humans. It's our next step. I always picture, and I'll end with this, I always picture, and everything, you use imagination. You have to imagine a world that is like heaven. Not socialism, not democracy. heaven. One of my short stories, I believe it's number 14, in my short story books, in my page Wild Books, is finally heaven. And it speaks of, all of a sudden, there's heaven on earth. Now picture our whole society right now changing to be like heaven, not clouds and stuff like that, but people treating each other with respect. People, no, money doesn't even exist. That's imagination. We have to imagine that. And what I was going to finish on, there's construction going on, so I apologize for the noise. Not that I'm doing it, but phase 1 of our lives, of the world, was just life beginning. Phase 2 was us becoming self-aware, but still with animal instincts, because our brain got bigger than our physical body could catch up, which still has within the brain the animal instincts, the reptilian instincts. And then 3 is the new evolution, where we then think, whoa, this is affecting me, this is affecting us. And now I see it. Now they're loud, but now I see it. I always picture, and I'm going to end with this as the noise is out there, I'm going to end with this, that I always picture like aliens, not that I think there are, but I mean aliens or beings who are so advanced, that they look down on us and protect us from ourselves. So we didn't have a nuclear war yet that destroyed the earth. But at the same time, look at us as not even little children. They look at us like amoebas. Like, yeah, they may survive, they may not survive, but they have some good qualities, so let's just keep helping them along. And we think we're so smart, we think we're so advanced, but no, imagine that. Well, I can imagine it, and I would say they probably are right. Anyway, I think we are a great race. I believe we have great things ahead of us, and I believe that we need to have the new evolution of ourselves. And it starts with each one of us, and then it starts with us as a group. Sorry this video is very long, but that's my idea on the new evolution, and you'll see the idea permeated through my website, my teachings of Gabriel, and all that stuff. I really appreciate, because this one's dear to my heart, I really appreciate you listening. I now have to put my glasses back on and say, later now. Take care. Love you all.